When John Lee Evans first joined the school board in 2008, it was a turbulent time for the world. The Great Recession was just beginning. Alongside Richard Barrera, the two joined California's second largest school district as it was about to face one of its biggest challenges.
John and I, we ran in the same year in the 2008 election, and we both had big, ambitious plans for what we could do for our public schools. And within a month of being elected to the board, we had the largest budget cut in the history of California public schools.
Dr. Evans' life and legacy serving the public dates back prior to joining the school board. Before San Diego Unified, Dr. Evans was constantly looking for ways to help people improve their respective communities.
I think the word that defines Dr. Evans' career has been community. I mean, he started in college when he was doing work to form clinics and things to help people in need. He did 3 years in the Peace Corps in Honduras. He worked in teaching ESL through the San Diego Community College District's continuing education program. Dr. Evans was the director of an institute for Spanish language instruction. What he was always working toward and continues to work toward is building inclusive, diverse communities that represent San Diego.
That sense of community would come to serve as a guide during the Great Recession when San Diego Unified was forced to make $50 million in budget cuts in 1 year and slash $100 million the following year.
One of the things that I've always admired about John is even in the middle of a crisis, he didn't let us lose our sense of why we had run in the first place.
Regardless of what ended up being cut, Dr. Evans knew the district would still need to create a concrete learning plan in order to protect students from the worst effects.
That's one thing that's so important to Dr. Evans, is always having a clear path forward and not compromising your values and your beliefs, even if you have to change how you're going to go about accomplishing those goals. You don't change those goals because you hold them dear.
Listening to community feedback, and especially students' voices, has always been a core commitment for Dr. Evans. And that listening also turns into action, which is something Superintendent Cindy Martin observed up close when she was principal at Central Elementary in City Heights.
I remember first meeting Dr. Evans when I was a principal in San Diego Unified, and I was a principal at Central Elementary. And it was a difficult time in our district where there were very significant budget cuts looming. And we had a group of student activists that were concerned about the cuts that were going to be coming to our school. And the students wanted to meet with the trustees that were making the decisions. And Dr. Evans was one of the first trustees that said, "I'll be there." And he showed up, he came to the school, he met with a group of students, and he listened with his whole heart.
Thinking through problems is a skill Dr. Evans also uses in his day job as a practicing clinical psychologist.
Dr. Evans is a practicing psychologist, and you can see that he brings that knowledge into the work he does as a school board member. He understands child development. He understands what children are going through.
When you spend more than a decade at any one place, you'll eventually work with many different people and personalities. In his time on the school board, Dr. Evans has fostered a climate of consideration and respect for others, resulting in a better flow of ideas and quicker resolutions.
There's been a lot of, better lines of communication with the communities and with partners, less tumultuousness. Board meetings that used to go on for days, it seemed like, now get resolved in a reasonable piece of time because Dr. Evans understands how to work together with the community to achieve what is the common good.
That process helped allow San Diego Unified to pivot quickly in times of crises, which included reconfiguring the district's curriculum and creating new opportunities for students.
A lot of outreach focusing on how do you produce students who can go the college path, who can go the vocational path, the Vision 2020 plan that Dr. Evans pioneered, all trying to produce students who can achieve success in their communities and become leaders in their communities. And that applies to all communities in San Diego, not just specific schools, not just specific areas of the city.
One of the most important decisions the Board of Education made was raising the graduation requirements to include the UC A through G curriculum. The idea was simple. Students who graduate from San Diego Unified should have the courses necessary to attend one of the state's outstanding public universities. In practical terms, it meant preparations had to begin in the youngest grades. Dr. Evans wanted to document that process following a group of students as their academic careers advanced.
Making that decision that the UC A to G curriculum was not only going to be the graduation requirement for all of our students, but that we were going to invest and make sure that all students had access, to that full curriculum, is something, again, that John stood strong for.
Opening up new opportunities has allowed students to choose a wider variety of options following high school graduation.
We define community as bringing people together. And Dr. Evans, again, that has been his lasting legacy and his overall career goal. He is a uniter, bringing communities together for the common good and helping people to reach beyond where they might not be able to reach without his leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Evans, for your years of dedicated service to San Diego Unified and the students of San Diego.
And so I thank John, of course, for his service to our community. I thank him for what he's done to make this a very different school system than we inherited and what will be a much better school system in the future. I thank him for all that work, but I also thank him for his friendship and for his sense of humor and for just knowing that we're in this together, because when you're in it with, with people who you respect and who you actually enjoy working with, it makes you more motivated. And John has certainly inspired and motivated me for the last 12 years.